Deanna, thank you very, very, very much, and thank you, everybody. It's certainly a joy to be here. Deanna said that I guess I would be sharing a lot of stories, and I look around and I said to myself, I think you all heard all my stories. So if you have, just raise your hand and we'll go on to the next chapter or something. But how do I begin? I guess I begin by telling you a story. Years ago, when the great Rabbi Israel Shem Tov would have some misfortunes that would happen among his Jewish families, he would go to a certain part of the forest to meditate, and then he would light a fire, say a special prayer, and the miracle would be accomplished. Well, after him came his disciple, Rabbi Msgr, and he too would be asked to pray for his people and to intercede in heaven. And he'd go to the same place in the forest and pray. Master of the universe, listen, I do not know how to light the fire, but I know the prayer, and the miracle would be accomplished. And then after him, Rabbi Moshe came, and he would intercede for his people. And he'd go to the forest and he'd say, I don't know how to light the fire. I don't know the prayer, but I do know the place in the forest. And that's all God, that it must be sufficient. And it was sufficient, and the miracle accomplished. And then Rabbi Israel came, and with his head in his hands, he spoke to God. I'm unable to light the fire. I don't know the prayer. I cannot find the place in the forest. All I can do is tell you the story, and I hope it's sufficient. And it was sufficient, because the angel came down and said, God made man because God loves stories. Most of you probably know that I love stories, and I will share probably maybe too many stories today. Some stories that on a pilgrimage to Oberammergau that I led, I shared as we made our own pilgrimage. Other stories are just part of my prayer life. I believe that every life is a story of God. So today, a day of prayer and a day of joy and a day of love, will be a few stories to help us enjoy this day together and pray. A wealthy man and his son, they loved to collect rare works of art. And they did so. And they often would just sit together and enjoy and admire the great works of art and share their friendship with each other as father and son. And Vietnam broke out and the son went to war. He was very courageous, and he died in battle rescuing another soldier. The father was notified, and certainly, as you probably would imagine, deeply grieved. Well, time passed, and one day there was a knock on the door. A young man stood at the door with a package in his hand. He said, Sir, you don't know me, but I'm the soldier for whom your son gave his life. You know, he saved many lives that day. And actually, he was carrying me to safety when a bullet struck him and took his life. I know we often talked about you and the times you would have for your love of art. Then the young man held out the package and he said, Here, I know it's not much. I'm not really a great artist, but I'm sure your son would like for you to have this. The father opened the package. It was a portrait of his son, painted by the soldier that he saved. And the father was just amazed at how he captured his son's personality, especially his eyes. And his own eyes welled up. Well, time went on, and the father died.